The discovery. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Alliance headquarters buzzed with conversation as representatives from over 200 species gathered for the Centennial Assembly. Located on Nexus Prime, the artificial planetoid that served as the political center of known space, the hall's massive crystalline dome revealed the tapestry of stars above. Stars that, according to official records, had never known human influence. Admiral Zeth Vaughn of the Ardelian Confederation stood rigid as he waited for his turn to address the council. His azure skin shimmered under the ambient lighting. 4 arms clasped behind his back in the traditional posture of military respect. What he was about to report would shatter centuries of established galactic history. "The floor recognizes Admiral Zeth Vaughn," announced High Chancellor Phylaxis, the ancient Formian whose translucent skin revealed the complex neural network beneath. "You may present your findings." Zeth Vaughn approached the central platform. The holographic display activated at his presence, projecting a 3-dimensional star map of the Cygnus Void, a region long avoided due to unusual gravitational distortions. "Esteemed Council," he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. 3 cycles ago, our deep space reconnaissance vessel detected unusual energy signatures emanating from within the void. We dispatched a research team to investigate." He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. "What they found challenges everything we believe about our galactic history." The map zoomed in, revealing an array of artificial structures, stations, shipyards, and what appeared to be massive defense platforms. "These installations," Zeth Vaughn continued, "utilize technology that follows no known design principles in our databases. And more importantly," he tapped a command, changing the display to show a recorded transmission. "They sent this when our vessels approached." The hologram shifted to show a bipedal being, hairless except for the top of its head, with 2 arms, 2 eyes, and skin in various shades of brown. It spoke in a language no translation matrix could decipher, yet the message ended with a symbol that caused audible gasps throughout the chamber. A stylized representation of a planet, a blue-green world with swirling white clouds, and a single natural satellite. "Earth," whispered Chancellor Phylaxis, speaking the forbidden word that most believed was merely a myth. "Impossible," shouted Krethter, representative of the Vexillian Empire. "Humans are fairy tales, cautionary myths we tell young ones. They never existed." The chamber erupted into chaos. Stories of humans had persisted for millennia. Tales of a supposedly primitive species that had nonetheless developed technology capable of challenging the most advanced civilizations. According to legend, they had vanished or been eradicated during the Forgotten War, an event so ancient that most scholars considered it fictional. Admiral Zeth Vaughn raised all 4 arms for silence. "I understand your disbelief. I shared it. But there is more." He activated another recording. This was captured just before our research vessel retreated. The hologram expanded to show a vast fleet emerging from within the void. Hundreds of vessels arranged in perfect formation, their designs sleek yet unmistakably built for warfare. At their center flew a massive ship easily twice the size of the largest Alliance dreadnought. "We estimate their fleet contains over 500 capital ships and thousands of support vessels," Zeth Vaughn said quietly. "And our scans indicate they possess technology far beyond our current capabilities." Chancellor Phylaxis leaned forward, their ancient eyes narrowing. "You're suggesting that humans, a species believed to be nothing more than legend, have been hiding within the Cygnus Void for all this time?" "Yes, Chancellor. And now they've been discovered." The silence that followed felt heavier than a neutron star's gravity. Throughout recorded history, the various species of the Alliance had believed themselves to be the inheritors of the galaxy. The oldest civilizations dated back nearly 50,000 years. None had ever produced concrete evidence of human existence. "What do they want?" asked Lyrella, the Aquarian diplomat, her fins quivering with anxiety. Before Admiral Zeth Vaughn could respond, the central communications system activated of its own accord. The holographic display flickered and changed to show the face of a human. different from the first, with darker skin and eyes that seemed to evaluate each council member individually. "We can answer that ourselves," the human said in perfect galactic standard, shocking everyone present. "I am Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth Confederation Navy. We've monitored your council for centuries, waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves." Chancellor Phylaxis rose shakily to their feet. "This is impossible. Our communications are secured by quantum encryption." Admiral Chen smiled slightly. "A technology we mastered 15 centuries ago, Chancellor." She glanced down briefly, then continued. "We've sent a diplomatic vessel to your coordinates. It will arrive in 24 hours. I suggest you prepare for a long overdue conversation." The transmission ended, leaving the council in stunned silence. For the next day, the Alliance headquarters became a hive of frantic activity. Emergency sessions debated everything from peaceful reception to immediate military response. Historical databases were searched for any concrete information about humans, yielding only fragments of myth and legend. Some stories claimed humans had been peaceful explorers. Others described them as ruthless conquerors who had nearly dominated the galaxy before being defeated. A few even suggested they had created several of the current Alliance species through genetic engineering, a notion most found deeply offensive. Admiral Zeth Thawne reviewed the limited sensor data they had gathered from the human fleet. Their energy signatures indicated a form of propulsion that somehow manipulated spatial dimensions, something Alliance scientists had theorized but never achieved. Their hulls contained alloys of unknown composition, and their weapon systems remained dormant but clearly present. "They could have attacked at any time," he muttered to his aide. "Why reveal themselves now?" The answer came precisely when promised. A single human vessel appeared near Nexus Prime, bypassing all defensive systems without triggering a single alarm. It wasn't particularly large, roughly the size of a standard Alliance cruiser, but scans showed it was virtually impenetrable to their sensors. A delegation of human representatives requested permission to board. After brief deliberation, the council agreed. The humans who entered the Grand Hall appeared almost disappointingly ordinary. Bipedal, average height, without the physical impressiveness of many Alliance species. Their leader introduced herself as Ambassador Sarah Nakamura, a slender woman with features that suggested mixed ancestry. "Chancellor Phylaxis, honored representatives," she began, her voice calm and measured. "For over 4,000 years, humanity has observed the Galactic Alliance from the shadows. We've watched you expand, develop, and govern. We've studied your cultures, learned your languages, and monitored your conflicts. Why remain hidden?" demanded Krethter. "If you possess such advanced technology, why not make yourselves known?" Ambassador Nakamura's expression remained neutral. "History taught us caution. The last time humanity openly engaged with other spacefaring civilizations, it ended in a war that nearly exterminated our species." She activated a small device, projecting images of an ancient conflict, massive fleets exchanging fire, planets reduced to molten rock, and finally, a small group of human ships fleeing into unknown space. "What you call the Forgotten War, we call the Exodus. Our ancestors were forced to abandon Earth and flee to the Cygnus Void, a region your navigators avoided, due to distortions we artificially created to hide our presence." Chancellor Phylaxis leaned forward. "The legends speak of humans as conquerors, not victims. History is written by the survivors," Nakamura replied evenly. "The coalition that nearly destroyed us fragmented afterward, and over millennia, the truth was lost. Some of your oldest species might find uncomfortable revelations in their historical archives, if they care to look deep enough." The council chambers fell silent as the implications sank in. Several of the older civilizations exchanged uncomfortable glances. "We've remained hidden because we needed time," continued Nakamura. "Time to rebuild, to advance our technology, and to ensure that if we ever revealed ourselves again, we would do so from a position of strength." "And why reveal yourselves now?" asked Lyrella. Ambassador Nakamura's expression darkened, because what forced us into hiding has returned. And this time, it threatens all of us. The confrontation. The Alliance Council chambers had never seen such frantic activity. Delegations from every member species huddled in urgent discussion as Ambassador Nakamura's revelation sank in. "You claim this ancient enemy has returned," Chancellor Philaxis said, their voice wavering slightly. "Yet you offer no proof beyond your word." Admiral Helena Chen, who had joined the human delegation, stepped forward. Unlike Ambassador Nakamura's diplomatic demeanor, Chen radiated military precision in every movement. 3 months ago, our deep space monitoring stations detected quantum distortions consistent with the Harbinger signatures from our historical records, she explained, activating a holographic display. "We've tracked their movements across what you call the outer rim." The display showed anomalous energy patterns moving methodically through uninhabited systems. With each passing, stars dimmed slightly. "They're harvesting stellar energy," continued Chen. "It's how they operate, draining stars to power their bioships before moving on to inhabited worlds." Krefther snorted in disbelief. "Convenient. You appear after millennia with tales of invisible enemies that only you can detect." Ambassador Nakamura remained calm. "We anticipated your skepticism. That's why we brought this." She nodded to one of her aides, who stepped forward with a sealed container. Inside was what appeared to be a fragment of organic material, iridescent, pulsing faintly with its own light. "This is a piece of Harbinger technology recovered from a scout vessel that ventured too close to our territory," she explained. "Your scientists can examine it. You'll find it contains cellular structures unlike anything in your biological databases, and technology that defies your current understanding of physics." Senior scientists from 3 Alliance species immediately surrounded the container, running portable scanners over the specimen. "It's alive," whispered the Thradian researcher, compound eyes widening. "But also mechanical. The molecular structure reconfigures itself continuously." While the Council absorbed this information, Admiral Zeth Van studied the human military officers. Despite their unassuming appearance, something about their quiet confidence unsettled him. They moved with the assurance of predators who knew their capabilities precisely. "Let's assume we accept your warning," he said, addressing Admiral Chen directly. "What exactly are these harbingers? And how did they drive a supposedly advanced human civilization into hiding?" Chen's eyes met his unflinchingly. "They're not a species in the way you understand. They're a collective consciousness that evolved beyond biological constraints billions of years ago. They exist partly in our dimension and partly in others, which is why they're difficult to detect until they choose to manifest." She expanded the holographic display, showing the path of the energy anomalies. "They follow a cycle, emerging every few thousand years to harvest energy before returning to whatever dimension they inhabit. The last cycle coincided with humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Our ancestors encountered them first," continued Nakamura. "We fought back, developing weapons and defenses that no other civilization had conceived. The Harbingers hadn't faced meaningful resistance in millions of years. They focused their full attention on humanity." "And you lost," stated Chancellor Philaxis. "We survived," corrected Admiral Chen. "There's a difference. We sacrificed Earth, our homeworld, to deploy a quantum resonance weapon that forced the Harbingers to retreat prematurely. We believe it damaged them, buying us time." "Time you used well, it seems," noted Zethvon, thinking of the vast human fleet they had glimpsed. "Every aspect of our civilization has been shaped by this existential threat," agreed Nakamura. "Our technology, our military, our social structures, all designed with the knowledge that the Harbingers would eventually return." Chancellor Philaxis conferred briefly with other senior council members before addressing the human delegation again. "You've presented disturbing information, but many will require more evidence before committing to action." "You'll have your evidence soon enough," said Admiral Chen grimly. "Based on their current trajectory, The Harbingers will reach the Peleos system within 2 weeks. It's sparsely populated. A research outpost and mining operation, correct. Several council members exchanged alarmed glances. The accuracy of her knowledge about an outlying Alliance system was unsettling. We propose a joint observation mission, suggested Nakamura. A small contingent of your vessels, accompanied by one of ours. If the Harbingers appear as we predict, you'll have your proof. If not, she spread her hands, you can dismiss us as paranoid myths once again. After hours of heated debate, the Alliance agreed to the proposal. A task force was assembled. 5 Alliance vessels representing different member species, led by Admiral Zeth Vaughn himself. The humans provided a single ship, a compact vessel they called the ESS Vigilant, commanded by Captain Malcolm Rivera. During the journey to the Peleos system, Zeth Vaughn found himself increasingly intrigued by the humans. They integrated with his crew effortlessly, quickly learning Alliance protocols while sharing carefully measured information about their own capabilities. Your species adapted rapidly, he remarked to Captain Rivera during a shared meal. Most of my crew required translator implants to communicate with other Alliance species, yet your people speak our languages naturally. Rivera smiled slightly. Adaptability is our defining trait, Admiral. When you're forced to rebuild civilization in an inhospitable region of space with limited resources, you either adapt or perish. And yet you advanced beyond the Alliance in many areas. Necessity, Rivera replied simply. For us, technological development wasn't about comfort or commerce, it was existential. Either we developed the means to defend ourselves, or we faced extinction when the Harbingers returned. Before Zeth Vaughn could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. They had arrived at Peleos, and long-range sensors were detecting anomalous energy signatures approaching the system's primary star. The Alliance vessels formed a defensive perimeter at the system's edge, while the human ship moved closer to observe. What happened next would forever change the Alliance's understanding of the galaxy. The star began to dim as vast, translucent structures materialized around it. Organic in appearance, yet clearly artificial in function. They resembled massive iridescent webs that pulsed with captured stellar energy. Harvester arrays, explained Rivera through the communication link. They're drawing power directly from the star's core. As the Alliance observers watched in horror, smaller entities detached from the main structures and headed toward Peleos IV, where the research outpost was located. These craft defied conventional physics, seemingly phasing in and out of normal space as they moved. Admiral Zeth Vaughn immediately ordered a rescue operation for the outpost personnel, but the human captain countermanded him. Belay that order. Rivera's voice cut through the channel. If your ships approach, they'll be targeted. The Harbingers ignore what they don't perceive as threats, but they respond overwhelmingly to any interference. We cannot abandon our people, Zeth Vaughn protested. We won't, Rivera assured him. But we'll do this our way. The human vessel activated previously concealed systems, enveloping itself in a field that seemed to bend light around it. It approached the outpost undetected while the Harbinger craft began methodically scanning the settlement. What followed was a demonstration of technology so advanced it appeared almost magical to the Alliance observers. Human operatives, wearing suits that similarly bent light around them, evacuated the outpost personnel right under the Harbinger's sensors. They moved with precision that suggested extensive training for exactly this scenario. When one of the Harbinger entities detected the evacuation and moved to intercept, the human vessel revealed its offensive capabilities. A concentrated beam of what appeared to be condensed quantum particles struck the entity, causing it to dissipate like smoke in wind. The rescue complete, the human ship retreated to the Alliance position. Captain Rivera's expression was grim when he reconnected with Admiral Zeth Vaughn. That was a scout, he explained. We've just announced our presence to them. The main force will arrive soon. Chancellor Phylaxis, watching the recorded footage from Nexus Prime, finally understood the full implications of the human revelation. How do we fight an enemy like this? they asked, their ancient voice trembling. Ambassador Nakamura stood before the full council, her expression resolute. Together, humanity has spent millennia developing weapons and defenses specifically designed to combat the Harbingers. We can adapt these technologies to your vessels, train your forces in effective tactics. Why would you share such advantages? Demanded Krethter suspiciously. What do humans want in return? Recognition, replied Nakamura simply. Acknowledgement of our right to exist in this galaxy without hiding. A place in your alliance as equals, not myths or monsters. She gazed around the chamber, meeting the eyes of species that had evolved on countless different worlds. Separately, neither humanity nor the Alliance can withstand what's coming. The Harbingers consumed countless civilizations before ours. They nearly destroy humanity at the height of our power. But together, she paused, allowing her words to sink in. Together, we have a chance. The vote was not unanimous, but it was decisive. The Galactic Alliance formally acknowledged the existence of humanity and accepted their offer of alliance against the Harbingers. As human technicians began the process of upgrading Alliance vessels with quantum resonance shields and phase-shifted weapons, Admiral Zeth Vaughn found himself standing beside Admiral Chen, watching the integrated crews work together. You could have remained hidden, he observed. Let the Harbingers consume Alliance worlds while you stayed safe in your hidden territory. Chen shook her head. That was never an option. 4,000 years ago, humanity learned the hardest possible lesson, that isolation offers no true safety against existential threats. The galaxy is our shared home. Defending it is our shared responsibility. Zethon considered this, then offered a formal Ardelian salute with all four arms. Then let us write a new history together. As the combined Human Alliance fleet assembled for the coming confrontation, a new chapter in galactic history began, one where humanity was no longer myth but ally.